Bali is the primary tourist destination in Indonesia. In the main season, the traffic at the international airport of Denpasar exceeds that of the capital, Jakarta. The invasion of tourists began in the 70s with the Australians, who first really discovered the exceptional conditions of Bali. Today, vacationers and tourists arrive by the million to the island that has hardly more than 3 million permanent residents itself. The sandy beaches with perfect surfing conditions are fantastic, but are even surpassed by the island's unique artistic, religious and architectural attractions. Although the somewhat insulated Bali is far from the mainstream of Hinduism, the island has been exceptionally successful in preserving the old traditions of music, dance, painting, architecture, along with other arts and cultural activities. The members of the East Javanese Majapahit dynasty, their entire court, the noblemen's families, many artists and artisans fled from Java to Bali, where their Hindu faith has incorporated the animist faith of the natives in a peculiar manner. In the island of Bali, there are 622 villages, with about 150 families living in each. Every house has several little temples or shrines that belong to it. The number of temples in the island is thought to be about 100,000, which means a temple per 30 people. The layout of the community temples in the villages is peculiar, with 3 known basic variations. The temples raised in honor of the ancestors face the mountains, the ones in the middle belong to the living, while those facing the sea are the temples of the dead. We will briefly introduce some of the countless interesting temples and sites of the island. The Elephant Cave, or the Gaya, is one of the oldest Hindu temples. It was very likely made in the Javanese Majapahit Empire, when the T-shaped artificial temple was carved into the basalt rock wall. In the semi-darkness inside, the central space of the temple is occupied by lingams, the flower-adorned phallic symbols of Shiva, with a basalt carving of Yoni, the female sexual organ, next to them. On the other side you can see Ganesha, the elephant-headed god, the symbol of bliss and prosperity. Today, crowds of Hindu pilgrims and tourists visit the temple that was excavated by Dutch archaeologists in the 1920s. The restoration of the pool with the sculptures, gargoyles of female figures and the belonging fountains in front of the cave temple was completed only in the 50s, just like the pavilion next to them. Mengwi, the Pura Tamanayun temple complex, was once the main religious centre of the royal seat. The temples that are situated on 3 levels were surrounded by a wall and an additional artificial moat filled with water and lotus flowers. The unequal beauties of the Mengwi Empire that flourished in the 18th century, including the wonderful temples and the Meru towers representing the Hindu cosmos, can be seen only from outside, walking around the complex. Although you may approach the demon's den on the bottom level, and the temples of the human world on the middle level, you may not enter the sacred 3rd level. This is the home of the gods, unless you are a practicing Hindu. Here you can find a total of 27 temples and multi-tiered Meru towers, which face the mountains, being the dwelling place of the ancestors. You can see these masterpieces of Balinese architecture over the fence surrounding the temples, and if you were lucky, you can even catch a glimpse of the believers of Brahmin priests making offerings. Wood carvings made of excellent quality local tropical trees such as teak, ebony, mahogany, sandalwood from the island of Timor stand out from the Balinese handicrafts. The masters who have honed their wooden carving skills to artistic perfection pass on their knowledge in special trade workshops. Visitors can marvel at the life-size elaborate carvings which seem to bring the gods and goddesses of Hindu mythology to life. However, you can also see and buy figurines of everyday people or animals of the Balinese jungle, such as tigers, panthers and monkeys, along with gamelan musical instruments among the carvings on display. the village of Batu Balan, there is a performance of the traditional Hindu barong dance every day, in the form of a spectacular theatrical show about the eternal contest of good and evil, with fantastic sets and costumes. A lot of foreign tourists come here from the surrounding beach resorts to see this performance. The hectic episodes of the dance are accompanied by an authentic Balinese gamelan orchestra. Barong, the good spirit stylized as a mythological animal, has an eternal nemesis, Rangda, also a mythological creature, but an evil monster. Various other characters, such as a tiger, its friend the monkey, Men, the female servants of Rangda, Dewi Kunti and her son Shahadua, and an evil witch also play a role in this rather complicated and eventful story. Shahadua is in mortal danger, but the god Shiva appears on the scene and makes him immortal. Seeing this, the witch turns into a bear, then a bird, and tries to kill him. But at the end, the supporters of the good barong triumph over Rangda, the evil. The Pura Ulan Hindu Buddhist temple complex stands on the shore of the picturesque crater lake of Danu Bratan. The temples were raised in honor of Dewi Danu, the goddess of water, back in the 17th century. The main temple was built on a tiny island that is connected to the lakeside by a small promontory. One of the most photographed great images of Bali is the beautiful picture of the lakeside temple with its multi-tiered, thatched roofed Meru towers reflected in the clear water of the lake. The steep forest-clad crater rim in the background is often wrapped in clouds. The temple complex also has a stupa that stands a bit further off the shore. The most picturesque area of Bali's central volcanic mountain range may be the still active 1,717 metre Gunung Batur, with its perfect cinder cone and fresh black lava flows, along with the Danu Batur, a crescent-shaped crater lake at the foot of the volcano on the eastern side. Due to the eruptions in the past decades, the inhabitants of a few small villages have had to move to a safer location. Visitors who make the trip to the little village of Kintamani will be rewarded with a breathtaking view. The Besaki Mother Temple, or the Puro Bashukian Pusha Jagat, is the most important imperial temple in Bali. The function of these temples is to serve as venues for big celebrations where all islanders, young and old, gather. The temple, just like the Ulun Danu, was carved into the side of a crater. Ever since the megalithic era, there has been an important religious reason for building sacred places on volcanoes. In ancient nature religions, fire and volcanoes were worshipped as gods. According to the belief of the Balinese, the supreme god is Gunung Agung, and the mountain was named after him. The ancient pilgrim road leading to the Besaki passes by 4 temples of lesser importance. These are the Bangun Sakti, the Ulun Kukul, and the Batari Shri and the Puru Panatar Agung. In the old days, the road was passable by foot only. Today you can hire a bike with a driver for the ride. Regardless of how you go there, you will reach a gate that looks like a pyramid split in 2. You may not enter with bare arms and legs, so you might need to rent a sarong to cover yourself up. Always ask permission to take photos and be careful not to offend the feelings of the locals. In the yard, next to the thrones of Brahma and Shiva, you will find the sacred places of Basaki Trinity, the Shangaragung. The pagodas with 7, 9 or 11 tiers are called Meru, after the holy mountain of the Hindus. These are reliquaries and hard to interpret symbols at the same time. The ritual offerings made during the big ceremonies represent purification and the invocation of God's goodness in hope of a happy life. Such celebrations are held every month, but there are festivals that are held every year, every 10 years, or even every 100 years. Ekadesa means 11. This is the number of cosmic deities for whom offerings must be presented every 100 years. Believers who get to participate in such a special ritual in their lifetime can be privileged. Many of them do not even know about these rare celebrations. Anyway, the Balinese calendrical system is so complicated that only the local high priests can keep track of it.